So far we have discussed couple of plugins, right? So we have created a random number generation as well as the sequence number generation. So we'll create another plugin to throw some errors. Let's say if the requirement is if a contact is getting contact created with the same mail ID, same email, we need to. So we have some out of the box feature. What is that?
by using keys.
Duplicate detection rules. Okay. So we can create duplicate detection rule and we can see that. Like if I check this, if I try to create any contact, so I'll just copy this existing email. New, I'm going to create with the same email again. So I'll be able to create the contact. So we have duplicate detection rule. So this duplicate detection rule will detect the duplicate. So if you see this window, duplicate record found. So this is the current record that we are creating. This is the duplicates record. So if we want to merge, we can merge it. We can select these two records and we can click on merge. So both records will be merged into one record. But in order to not to allow, see if I click on save, duplicate detection rule will trigger and it will detect the duplicate. It will show this window. If I click on ignore and save, a duplicate contact is created. I don't want to maintain any duplicate in the system. So in that case, duplicate detection rule will not work because if user click on ignore and save, then it will bypass the validation. So that's why what we need to do, we can create a plugin to stop this duplicate email contact creation. So first what we will do, we will create a class library project, new project, class library. So .NET framework, email duplicate on contact create. First thing what we need to do, add the references. Then we'll use these references using Microsoft.xrm.htk, using Microsoft.crm. The next step is we have to implement the execute method. Public void execute service provider, and then the I plugin execution context is equals to I plugin execution context service provider dot get service of type of I plugin execution context. Then what we need to do, we need to create Organization Service Factory. Use this Organization Service Factory. Give you can give any name here. This is just reference. And then we have to create organization service. And this service will be created from organization factory dot create organization service. It will take a parameter user ID. User ID is available in context class. Next, what we need to do? We need to check the input parameters have the target or not. So if context dot input parameters that contains target and context dot input parameters of target is entity. So you might be getting a doubt why I'm using contains this bracket, why I'm not using contains and this bracket instead of square bracket. See, context dot input parameter dot contains will just check this keyword, this target is present in this input parameters or not, this line. So if contains, then it will go to here. Since it contained, we are getting this target directly in the input parameter and we are checking is entity or not. If it is entity, then we'll create an entity type. We'll give any reference as contact. Since we are creating entity type, I will typecast it to entity in the context dot input parameters of target. Then we will check if target input parameters is contact or not. Contact dot logical name is equals to contact. This is the logical name of the contact entity. Then what we need to do? We need to get the email because we need to check the duplicate, right? So how we need to get the email? First, we will check if the email have the data or not. Okay. How to check? Similarly, how we will check in the target? Same way. If context dot contact dot attributes dot contains what it need to contains email. Let's get the logical name of the email. If it contains, then I will create a string variable email is equals to contact. Since it contain, I will directly use attributes of email address. I won't use the contains because I'm using the contains in the condition. If this condition matches, then only it will go inside this loop. That to string. Here it is clear. See what we are doing. We are getting the email that is entered while creating the contact. Now what we need to do, we need to take this email and we need to query to all the contacts in the CRM. So this is the email that I entered. So this entered email will be getting in the code here and we need to check this email is present in any of these records. So here we have, since it is our trial environment, we have 12 records. In real time, there may be thousands of contacts. So we need to query those contacts. If any of the contact having the same email, then we need to show the error. Now, how to query the data? Query can be possible in retrieve or retrieve multiple. Retrieve we cannot do because we don't have the GUID. Moreover, we need to check multiple records. So we have to use the retrieve multiple. How to use the retrieve multiple? So we have something called query expression. that is present under the same Microsoft.xrm.sdk.query. We have this class, this reference. In this reference, we have a query expression. Can you any name query, new query expression. I need to query on contact entity. And this query expression will take columns conditions. So columns query dot column set dot add columns. Here we will add some columns. For example, I will get full name, email, or first name, last name, full name, email. First name copy, full name, last name, and then email. Query expression we have created on contact entity, and we are fetching these three fields. And now we need to add a condition. Query dot criteria dot add condition. So this add condition will take three parameters, which field we are trying to validate, okay, which operator we are using, to which value we need to compare. So we are checking if email address of any record is condition operator that equals this email. We already getting the entered email. So we are querying the contact entity, and we are fetching these three fields, and we are adding the condition if any contact email address equals to the entered email. Entered email. Then we need to for the error. So now we have built the query. Now we need to execute this query. How to execute? So we have, so from this query we will be getting more than one record. So if it is more than one record, we have to use entity collection. If it is one record, we have to use entity. So in our case, we will be getting more than one record. We will use entity collection. So I will give any reference as contact data is equals to service dot retrieve multiple. We need to pass the query. This is the query. All this query is built in this. We have created a query expression with this reference, and we are adding columns and criteria to this query, and we are passing this query to execute. How to execute? Service dot retrieve multiple. Retrieve multiple will retrieve more than one record. If this condition finds more than one record, it will fetch. If it finds one record only, it will fetch one record. Clear? Now, once this query executed, we will get the result here. We will check if contact data contact data dot entities that count greater than, if it have more than one, then we need to use zero, right? If it one, then it will allow one duplicate. If we putting zero, then it won't take any duplicate. If it found greater than zero, entered email is there, it found as zero or greater than zero. Greater than zero means it can be any value, 1, 2, 3, 4. Then what we need to do? We need to throw This is the error syntax to throw the error. Throw new invalid plugin execution exception. Okay. Email is duplicated with other contact. Please enter unique email. This is the error that we are throwing. See, till here, the code is same what we are using in all our plugins. So I use this variable to get the entered email address. I'm using this email to query the contact entity, and I'm executing the query. If I found more than one record, here we will be getting collection. It may be 1, 2, 5, or 100. So each record is a entities. If contact data dot entities records count is greater than 0, then I'm throwing this exception. So build this project. Sign in the project. Email duplication. Then build the solution. Okay. Once the solution is built, we'll register this. Register new assembly. Load the assembly. So email duplication. This is the project. Bin and debug. Register. No plugin have been selected. Register new assembly. Let me refresh. So we need to get the plugin like this. Why we are not getting? Let's check again. Email. This is the project under pin debug. No plugins have been selected from the list. So let me try it from XRM Toolbox. If I get the same register new assembly. Let me do one thing. I will just copy this code. Create a new class library with this. First, I'm building the project, then sign in the assembly. Build the solution. So see, again we are not getting this. So let me do one thing. Class.
Do we need to update any iPlugin difference on the main method, like public class one?
Exactly. Now it will work. I forgot it.
Okay, okay. I'm just going with, yeah, okay.
Okay. I think now it will work. Now see.
Yeah.
Thank you. See, the reason is even if you remove this public also, it won't come because we are not even executing the I plugin interface. We will the class is not finding over there because it is not a plugin. So once we inherit this, then only it will be considered as a plugin. Okay. So let's register the plugin. Registration is success. This is the plugin class level. Control F, class library. Cannot insert duplicate keys. It's already registered. So I will register a new step, create, contact, none. I will do it on pre-operation. And now if I create any new contact, save, contact will create. If I try to create another contact with the same email that we have created for the previous contact, email is duplicated with other contact, please enter unique email. So this is the error that we passed in the plugin here. And it won't be saved. You see the card will still unsaved. Click, even if I click ignore and save, my plugin will stop creating this. You see in the backend it's still unsaved and error comes up.